Greetings to my family. Yes, I'm embracing that, like a thing since the other day. Understanding her more. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Where women speak their truth and men learn. They listen and they learn and they appreciate us. I'm your host, Katie K. So today we will be talking about her expectations. And we have two wonderful women in the house to speak on it. Please give a round of applause for Miss Michael and Ayana. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
All right, great. So I'm excited to hear your views. Literally, I am. And I can just imagine what they're going to be. So I'm going to am I the only one kind of had a pen and a paper when I was younger and I was like, this is the guy I want. These are some expectations I have of him. I'm not the only one.
No,
right?
I think a lot of young girls actually did that.
Ayana,
I think for me it was more like my imagination. This is what I want. This is what I want him to be like.
I had a list, but I had to throw that paper away because that guy isn't made as yet. But moving right along. So I'm going to start with Michael. What are some key things you think women expect of men in their relationships?
Okay, so we all want a healthy relationship that lasts. And I think for most women, one of the key expectation is communication. Like, I need you to be able to communicate with me effectively. Because if there's no communication...
So, 24/7?
No, when I say communication, let's say, for example, we have a disagreement. Most males tend to shut down immediately. Like, I don't want to talk about this. Right. I need you to communicate.
Or sweep it under the rug.
I need you to be able to communicate with me. Tell me where I went wrong. Tell me how to correct my mistakes. Just let me know what's going on in your mind. Because if I don't know what's happening, then the relationship...
We're going to be going in a roller coaster.
Right.
All right. So Michael said communication, which I think is very... Listen, if you know, be like, I'm talkative. I talk a lot. If you don't want to talk a lot, that's fine. But communicate with me. I need you to, if something is bothering you, tell me. I won't know if something is bothering you if you don't tell me. So talk to me. If you'd like for us to do something, tell me. Just talk to me. So I definitely agree with Michael there when she said communication. Ayana, now to you. What are some what are some basic things women expect of men in a relationship?
All right. So I do agree with communication. I also think that women expect men to be committed, to be honest. And those are two things that I believe a lot of women don't think they get a lot of. Commitment and honesty. And ever so often we find in a relationship where the woman goes in and expects of a man to be committed and to be honest. And if that is not upheld, then they start having issues and they start having problems. So I do think it's important for men to be committed and to be honest. And that takes in a wide definition for many persons. Because when you talk about not being committed, it's such a huge topic. Not being committed in a relationship. Persons go always flirting with another person, not being committed. Or is it just that you have to get into some action? Or when does it start? Does it start in the mind when you start thinking about it? But it's a quality that is so rare, but a lot of persons go in a relationship and they basically form a two-way contract that I expect this of you, and in turn I need you to be committed to me and me alone as a person.
Right.
So
I think you ladies like literally pointed out the three very important. One is missing, and I'm going to put it out.
Mm,
Yeah.
Trust, honesty, commitment, communication. Very crucial, but it
trust,
all
right.
starts on
Mhm.
trust. Because if I don't trust you, I'm not
Right.
going to be honest with you. If I don't trust you, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not
Mm,
going to commit to you. If I don't trust you, I'm not going to communicate certain things with you. Trust, I have to put it on the board. Trust
it's
is so
imperative.
important. Like, if it's not there, everything else is going to crumble to pieces.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Everything else is going to crumble to pieces. But I'm tempted to ask this, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
say the guy is physically attractive, you know? These are expectations of your guy, you know? I expect the guy that comes in my life to be dark and dripping and thick and waves for days, you know? When him come to me, the ocean breeze just a lick me because him have waves. So, but this is what he looks like. But what if he doesn't meet those basic expectations of say communication,
Mm.
trust and commitment and honesty? Would you go with it? Would you go with it in the sense that, okay, he's a fine young man, so I'm gonna risk it all? Or is it a must? I have to see these basic expectations before I say, okay, let's give this fine young man a
If
chance.
the basic expectations aren't there, then it's a no for me. Because that's basically, for me, you're just a shell of a man. No substance,
Mm.
no. What am I going to do with that? Yes, you look good, but a relationship
one
cannot last
one big
with
sleepover,
just
eh?
looks.
You know, I was having
Yeah.
this conversation the other day, and the issue that I'm having with women's expectation is that if it is that they talk a lot about, I want a guy who doesn't cheat, I want a guy who is
Hmm.
honest with me, I want this type of guy. And they bleed so much about the type of guy they want. They put it on their status, they put it on social media. And I promise you that if that guy meeting those characteristics come to them and he doesn't meet the physical characteristics, they will start finding a lot of the excuse. Oh, he's too nerdy.
Exactly.
He's too
Exactly.
nice.
Ah.
He's not cute enough. And it's a life lesson I learned a while back that the person you're supposed to be with is not going to meet all of your characteristics because let's be let's be honest. It's not a fairy tale world. You're not gonna get your Prince Charming. I know we sell it a lot in the movies, we read it a lot in the books, but I
Yeah.
promise you that this is the real world and people are people. So it's quite unlikely that the person you want, the
Solid.
characteristics you want in a person, you may get the honesty, you may get the commitment, but he may not meet your physical expectations. He may meet your
Hmm.
physical expectations and you may not get the basic characteristics of trust, honesty, loyalty, commitment, and communication. So I think women need to understand that concept, and I do believe it takes a level of maturity to reach there
Yes,
where you're able to
definitely.
say he's fine, but listen, I know that down the road you're not going to be honest with me. I see the warning signs from now. I see the warning signals. I see the red flags. And listen,
Right.
I'm not going to go there with you. As fine as you are, as handsome as you are, as sexy as you are. So it really takes a level of maturity to say no to
Solid.
the physical dream man and say yes to the characteristics and the
Uh,
personality.
and
It takes
yes to the
somebody who's willing
personality.
to settle down and have a lifetime
Solid.
committed relationship.
And I think in today's society, the reason why we have like relationships not going anywhere is because that's the attitude we go into relationships with. Oh, he's cute. So throw
Yeah.
all the basic expectations outside. We don't need that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll wing it from here and see where it goes. So,
Yeah. And you know the funny thing about that? So because he meets our physical expectations, we try to, and he doesn't meet the characteristics and the personalities we want
right.
him to have,
Yes.
Yeah.
we try to change him into that person. So we're literally creating our perfect man. So
Mm-hmm.
he meets the physical 100%. You got that, but
Mm-hmm.
your personality and your characteristics are
Mm-hmm.
off. You're literally dropping 0%. And so women tend to
Mm-hmm.
stick with it
That's
and
true.
try to
Yeah. That's true.
change the man. I find it, to be honest, I find it rather puzzling
It is.
because it is unhappy.
It is.
It is an unhappy case.
Yes.
And it's like you're stuck there and you're saying, you don't cook for me. I need you to cook for me. I love lobster. Go in the
Yeah.
kitchen and cook. And he's probably just thinking, I
Yes.
don't know how to
Yes.
cook. I don't want to cook the lobster. And you're like, oh, babe. And you go and you buy the lobster and you put it in the kitchen and you say, at least when I buy it and put it in the
Mm.
kitchen, probably not gonna cook it if I buy it and put it in the kitchen. And you buy it and you put it in the kitchen and you go home and you still see the lobster in the sink. And
Mm-hmm.
like I said, Jesus
Mm.
wept
Yes.
on Calvary's cross. The man would
And that's
not
a
even
toxic
boil the
relationship.
lobster. And you go again and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
it is. And that is what puzzles me. We stick
Yeah.
so much to the physical aspect of it to the point where
Mm-hmm.
instead of searching for somebody who can meet us with the
Yes.
basics of being committed and honest and trust and being that guy who will take care of us emotionally, we literally suck up all the negatives
Mm-hmm.
because of the
Yes. Yes.
perfect
Yeah.
physical characteristics, the perfect physical stamina and all of that. And we try to build him up with the
Yes.
personality of what we want him to have. And trust me, it's I won't Katie, you won't say that word. But we're going right along, ladies. We're going right along. So this brings us to the next question of
But
what
if
if
you
you
get
get a
out,
50-50? Is it worth working with? A 50-50. Is it worth working with? So he has half of your
mm,
expectations, but he's lacking in the other half. So say he communicates well and he's committed, but honesty and probably some of the other basic expectations are lacking that are important to you. Do you go with it or do you say no? I need him to
well,
meet all of my
as I said before,
expectations.
that no man will meet all of your expectations.
Right.
I think the question you need to ask yourself in that situation is he willing to change? Because you can't change him if he doesn't want to change. If he if he acknowledges that he's dishonest or he does certain things in certain situations and he's like, hon, I want to change, I just don't know how to, then you would give it a try. But there are men out there
Do
that
you
will
believe
give,
that though?
pardon?
I,
Yes,
I,
man.
I, I have
There
to I
are
have to ask you
there are
that.
men out there that will acknowledge,
I
very,
have to
very
ask you.
few, but they'll acknowledge that I've made a mistake and I really need to change. They'll probably not communicate it the way I just said it, but you will know if he wants to change.
What what what
Hmm.
what I was bringing out of what you said, correct me if I'm wrong, is when you were making the statement of um him not being willing to change. I know my
Hmm.
standpoint is say you get that man off 50%. Matter of fact, before I add my 2 cents, I'm going to allow you to finish and then I have Michael share her points
All right.
on
So what I
the
was saying, he has to
50-50.
be willing to
Continue,
change.
please.
And if he's not willing to change, then you have to let him go, sis. Let him be somebody else blessing our problem. But if he's willing to change and if he's
Yes.
willing to work on his faults, I'm sure you have faults that you need to work on too. So you can work on it together. But if he's not willing to change, let him go,
Definitely.
sis. Let him go
Definitely.
before you're gonna know deep in the relationship.
Ra- le-
Yes.
like
Right.
Frozen. Is it Frozen? Let it go. Let it go.
Um,
Yes,
I
Michael.
understand where Ayana is coming from because you do have a few men who are sometimes willing to change. But then you have some who, at the beginning, they're willing to work, they're willing to change, they're willing to meet me halfway. And then when it gets super rough or extremely difficult, then they bow out. Like, this is not what I signed up
Mm,
for. I don't want to do this. So I'm
Oh,
kind of, I mean, I somewhat agree, but then I don't think that's something that I would go into. Like, I need to see,
mm,
try to work on yourself by yourself.
so you're
Show me
saying,
that you're willing to do the work. Show me that when it gets difficult, you're not going to just leave.
mm,
And then I'll attempt to assist you if you need my help.
mm.
But I'm not trying to change anybody.
so
I'm not
based
trying to
on
change
you,
anybody.
that's solid, solid. Me and Jesus, Jesus alone can change and can change
That's
souls
true.
and change minds and body. Listen, some of us, that is what we love to do. We love to
Exactly.
take on Jesus' role and change people. Listen, I'm no Jesus. Right now, me need changing myself and me can do it. I need Jesus. But the what I wanted to bring out that you both kind of made some you shed some light on it and is men changing for a woman. Listen, I preach this every day.
Yes,
You see, when a man love
Mm,
you,
definitely.
he might go change for you. And it's not even a matter of changing for you.
Right.
that's
He wants
true.
to be
Yes.
better, a better person for you. So he's not necessarily even changing for you because he loves you so much that he wants to be that man that you want. And so he's going to be that man to treat you how you really deserve. Because even if you should leave, he's still that man.
Mm,
And he's going to love that other woman unconditionally. So if a man, listen, I'm not, me not in this,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I saw him steer and Martha just work. No, don't work with it, sis, because if he should find the
I'm
woman of
gone.
his dreams, listen, if him used to keep the toilet seat, listen, if him used to keep the toilet seat up and it's annoying
Yeah.
That's true.
if him find a woman, him go put it
That's
down.
true.
I say it's a gospel I preach every day. Compromising is very important in a relationship. Sometimes you have to say, am I willing to endure some of the
Mm,
things he's having troubles fixing or changing? Sometimes we have to ask ourselves, and
mm.
sometimes we have to say, let me compromise. And a lot of people, a
Yes,
lot of
that's
men, a
true.
lot of women neglect that term or that word. Let me compromise for my partner. And so listen, if you really find the guy, listen, if we find the man who really love him, I tell you, say, if we tell ourselves that we never, ever, ever, I got on farm. Remember me, I tell you, say, you and him, me and him, I go put on a boot and we are going to the farm.
Mm,
Yeah.
I tell you, no, listen, the right person will make you do some unquestionable things. Listen, you will question yourself and say, like, no man,
mm-hmm.
I made it. I could have taken God off of the cross and me, I would never. And look at me now. So it's a gospel I preach every day. You see, when you find the person you're willing to
Yes,
change for, you will change some dirty characters and some dirty personalities for that
yes,
person because you want the person to be happy. And as such, you're going to fix those nasty
Yep.
characters in order to
And this
make
is
your
why
that's
partner
true.
maturity
happy.
is so important in any relationship.
Yes, yes.
Because we have some, well, both females and males, we're so immature, like we're
It
not willing
is.
to compromise at all.
Mm,
We're quick to say, like, no, I'm not change for him. If you love me, then accept me as I am.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah,
And so many
that
times persons
mentality.
think, oh, it's a one-sided thing. Like he
Right.
should change this, but we don't recognize our own faults. And I think sometimes we need to look in the mirror. If it is that the man has something you don't like about him, then it's quite likely, because you're human, you have flaws that he doesn't like about you. But
Yes.
very, very few times do men communicate that to you. So I think that as women, whilst we have our expectations of men, we should also be a little critical of ourselves going into a relationship. Am
Right.
I doing this to make him uncomfortable? Do I expect that he should pay for everything and I do nothing in return? What are my expectations doing to hinder his progress? Because sometimes we expect people to change for us and we don't expect change for people. And
Mm-hmm.
that's an issue I think a lot of men are having with women expectations, especially when you talk about the traditional role of the man always providing. I go out on a date and I believe that I don't I shouldn't carry him out on a date because it's his role to provide for me and carry me out and treat me like a queen, but I shouldn't treat him like a king. You understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
a lot of times we expect certain things of men, and we don't do the things ourselves. We don't show them how we want to be treated. Have a special date for him, bring him out, buy him stuff for special events, or just tell him stuff, and give him stuff that
That is
shows
it.
that you
That is it.
appreciate who he is based on his love language. Just show him that it's not just that I'm expecting you to do all this for me, but I'm doing all this for you. So
Right.
a relationship is that you put in, he puts in.
You
It should be equal, not just you expecting, and he's giving and giving and
definitely,
giving, and you aren't returning.
definitely. You touched on the final point that I wanted us to look at, and as such, I'm going to allow Michael
Mm-hmm.
to give her point on it as well, because a lot of times
We
Mm.
cannot do it.
what we want in the
Yes,
man,
exactly.
we not have it. We not have it. For example, we want the man for thick. We want him for stay good. I remember just say we're not
Mm.
nice body man, but we not really have a nice body ourselves.
That's so true.
You know, we say we don't want
Mm.
no big belly man when our belly big itself. You know, so big up all big belly men. Big up, oh no, love and up bad and they keep us warm. Love and up bad. But
Um,
yes,
I
Michael,
think
what's our
if a
points on?
female cannot provide what she's expecting from a man, then she needs to go sit down, work on herself until she's able to provide whatever she's going to ask for. Because a relationship is not one sided, as Ayana said. Whatever you're
Mhm.
asking for, you should be able to give it.
Definitely,
And this is where fairness
definitely,
and equality comes in. You can't
definitely.
ask him to provide for your morning, noon, and night. And when he's down, he's unable to do it one time, and you can't step in and say, "Hey, I've got this."
Mm.
Pointless, and it's not going to work. And I
Mm.
think a lot of males complain about this because females we expect so much. It's ridiculous at times.
That's
Then we
true.
not give it back.
Listen, our bars are so high, it's scary.
No, I'm saying
Repeat that for me, Michael.
we always expect a ton of stuff, but yet we're not able to give them what they're asking for.
Mm.
Definitely. Sometimes our expectations are very scary, and like you have to sit and ask yourself, a person really exists? Like I can recall having a conversation with one of my female friends, and I said, "What kind of guys you like?" And she said, "Dark, like really dark, and have that nice glow and." Nice thick lips. I'd like him to be bald, very muscular, tall. Him have to have six. Him have to have six pack, and I don't
Ah.
want any hair on his skin. So when me did I go weld everything else until she reached the hair pan the skin. So I say,
She need an alien.
what happened to the ear pan the
Right?
skin part? When I get the part, right? Me get everything else, you know. Me like what? Listen. Me get the other parts, you know, because I can find them. But like, what you mean you don't want no ear? No ear, none at all. No, she said no ear, none at all. Like, I don't want. So I said, no sis, I don't think that man exists. To be honest, like, unless Jesus like come down and say, goods, what you want? Bam. What else you want? Bam.
On spot.
What else you want? Bam. I'm just creating specifically for you on spot. Like, it doesn't exist. And like when I heard her describing the kind of man that she wants, like even for me, it was so scary. And I was like, do you have any fear of ever being alone? And I asked it in a very serious way because her expectations were so high. Like they were really high. And listen, that was just physical. And I don't want to hear the personality. But may I say, no, like that's way too much expectations. We should remember that there's no. Ayana said it. You both said it over and over. Nobody on this earth is perfect. Not one. Because if him have the perfect body, if it so happens to him have the perfect hairless body, listen, is either something wrong otherwise or something in a something, but nobody knows so perfect. And not a soul is that perfect.
It goes to show that it's good to have expectations. I believe we call them standards. But
Yeah.
don't close yourself so much on your expectations that somebody that is right for you comes along and you don't see it. You know, it's good to have expectations. We're not bashing that. But when you have
Definitely.
unrealistic expectations of another human being that you can't even produce, then that's the problem.
That is it.
Exactly.
That is it. And expectations are fine, but unrealistic expectations are wrong.
Right. Because I do think your friend has hair on her body.
So at this time, listen. But we will leave that for another episode. We will. Definitely we will. But at this time for women who are listening, I'm going to just mention some of the key factors that we mentioned earlier in the conversation. Trust, which I put as number one. Because trust is the foundation of all things. Communication, commitment, and honesty. Have at least those for starters, shall we? Men, I hope you have your notepads and you're taking notes. You know, men, please and thanks, because you never might tell. After this episode, you might just stumble into the one. So you can't say Katie never tell you. You can't say Michael and Ayana never say, because we did tell you. So I just want to encourage you at this time. So, you know, let us just learn to take time to build ourselves. If this is who we want, let us in return be this person. And so it will flow perfectly. You'll have the perfect flow of a relationship. And I'm also going to encourage you guys to follow our social media handle. That's on Instagram at understanding her more. And that's understanding_her_more. Now be sure to tune in for the next episode of Expectations. And you'll be hearing from the men. I don't think I did that. My voice isn't that deep. But yes, our men will be coming on to share their expectations of women. I am so looking forward to that. But thanks. A big thank you to our guests
Thanks
for
for
today's
having
You're
me.
episode,
welcome. It
Michael
was
and
a
Ayana. Thank you
pleasure.
so much, ladies. Not a problem. Not a problem. I hope our expectations are realistic. But until then, keep safe to my own family. If you're new, we love you. Thanks for stopping by. And make sure you turn on that notification bell so that when we drop our new episodes, you'll be the first one to know. And also, we have some hot stuff going on our Instagram, so be sure to stick and stay on our page. All right, but until then, keep safe. I'm your
You're
host, Katie K.
welcome.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
ladies.